Okay, folks. I'm like triple checking that I'm not muted. So far, so good. Welcome back to map number 1. You might be having a little bit of deja vu because these two did play against each other earlier in this tournament in the winner's bracket. But this is the loser's bracket grand finals. There's no more games to fall back to after this one. So, in this best of 5, spawning here to the bottom left, we have the blue Protoss partying. And his opponent to the top right, the red Protoss trap. Now, the score previously, I guess spoiler alert, not that it really matters because they're fighting again anyways. Parting did beat Trap 2-1, so it wasn't a super stomp, nor do I feel the series was very one-sided. In fact, I do think that was a good matchup for what a PvP is. But PvP can be volatile and stupid, and you know, we saw some soft containing with stalkers, we saw some all-in moves. But the takeaway I took from that first series was Parting, I just feel it maybe has a better pacing on the matchup. Now, Trap has always been good at PvP. I've actually, like I said, yeah, he wins the pro fight. Might as well just leave Parting. It's over. No, Trap's got a really good handle on PvP, and I've been able to respect his PvP for like years. So saying that and then being able to measure Parting up as having better PvP, it's not at all inferring that Trap is bad. Parting just seemed to really handle that last series well. And a big part of this was, or a big parting of this, was his pacing to get to disruptors, his use of units. I think Warp Prism Micro for both is probably about equal, so that doesn't really count, but still good nonetheless. So it'll be very fun to watch this develop. We also saw a little bit of mind games, of course, trying to put pylons down and juke your opponent out, but none of that's happening in this game. It's very just straightforward. Pepe hands, we want the raid battle. I'm sorry, guys! Look, we'll do it after this game, I promise. Just sit tight. PvPs don't tend to be that long, but of course, as I say it, it's going to be like a 30-minute carrier game. I don't know if anyone remembers who the matchup for this was. I know it's on our old YouTube channel, the one that's inactive. But there was this game where, like, it was Neeb versus somebody. Neeb versus Gung Fu Bandit, maybe? Like a European. But there was a game where Neeb ended up having like this 30-40 minute standoff game with like carriers and tempests with like 100 shield batteries in the middle of the map. And like, I really hate to say it, but that's where these extreme PvP late games can go. They never do, it feels like, all but once in a blue moon. But man, if that wasn't like the most infuriating thing to see. So every time I cast PvPs, I'm always hoping that this is like, okay, Zealot Archon, Disruptor Stalker, no more than 20 minutes. Because when it goes to that distance, it's super frustrating. Now, I know y'all are trolling me by spamming muted in the chat. And I know you're wrong, but I'm still gonna check anyways. I hate you guys. Just leave, party. It's over. I knew you guys were lying to me. I knew it. I should ban all of you. Honestly. Oh my god, I didn't realize the attack that was coming because you guys were distracting me. A lot of adepts hit the main base. This is actually so terrifying for parting. The Oracle spawns just in the nick of time. The adepts can still kill quite a few probes. But this went from being possibly game over to parting survives this. And oh my god! Big place. Insane place. I've never seen a stasis trap hit this many workers. But guys, look at this income difference. Look at this chip way back into parting's favor. This essentially negates any damage those adepts just did. And then taking it one step further, I would even argue it gives them a small lead because of just how long these were out of commission. Normally that stasis ward hits maybe a quarter of the mineral line. I also like that he chose to do the stasis ward because a shield battery is put down. If you guys aren't familiar with this interaction, this makes the Oracle take a few more shots to kill a probe. So instead of 2-shotting, it'll take like 3 or 4 depending on what shield battery's hitting. With 2 Oracles, you can just focus fire down the probes and the shield battery doesn't have any time to heal them and they'll just instantly die. So the stasis trap made a lot of sense for parting. But it's so funny watching this be just like an almost complete cancellation. Like, this is the Inside Out. It's Stranger Things Season 5. Interesting. The Oracle comes over to see what's going on. Trap is gonna be in some trouble, guys. Remember, he invested so much into the Adepts earlier, so he doesn't have that many Stalkers. Normally, Stalkers would be the easiest way to push this off, but the recall! Oh my god!
He's so good.
Okay, so Parting is up nearly 10 workers from these fights. Sure, it's 2 base to 2 and with some chrono boost, Trap will remake a lot of these workers. But the amount of control that gives Parting in this game is massive. Like, just knowing that there's going to be like 3 or 4 extra Stalkers because he didn't have to make workers when Trap did, that's going to be a lot of confidence for small scale fights. I see you guys laughing and using the stupid debated emotes. Look, if I didn't mute myself earlier in the stream, I wouldn't have played Paranoid into your trolly little hands, okay? But I want to bring you guys a good show. Can I be sappy for just a hot second here? As much as I really love Starcraft 2, my favorite thing is just knowing I'm putting on a good show for y'all. And I know not everyone here is going to agree with that, and if you don't, you can frankly just suck my But the point is, I really enjoy putting on a good show for everybody. So when you guys tell me I'm muted, I'm going to check that every time. Because it would break my heart if I was actually too stubborn and was actually muted, you know? So I love you guys for tuning in, but I don't love that you trolled me like that. By the way, Dark Shrine is the other development behind this. We also have Blink coming for both. There might be, not for long, but there's going to be 100% a bit of a detection discrepancy for Trap. Oracles can always cast the Revelation. That's cool. Whatever. It's only going to hit 1 or 2 of the DT's maximum. Hell, probably 1 because they'll split between the 2 of them. So while a Forge is on the way and a Robo's just started, there's going to be a considerable amount of time. Oh, this is going to get caught. Oh, that's right. They don't detect. I forgot. GG. Oh, he's just going to tap out. Too much damage combined with the lack of detection actually makes sense. Parting takes the first game. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. We hop in now to game 2. He's up 1-0, some cheeky play, but an absolute master of this matchup. We have the blue Protoss. It is
Parting.
His opponent to the upper right will be the red Protoss.
Trap.
Now, Trap, okay, he's down 1, but this is not a best of 3, so he's not on his last life just yet. Best of 5 gives you a little bit of room to work with, a little bit of a chance to bounce back and forth, but oh god, like I almost missed the Adepts going to the base entirely because I was kind of gushing over Parting's handling of the matchup, and I think now that you guys have all seen it firsthand, surely you must agree. Like, Trap's an amazing player, he really is. But watching my boy Parting pull off such slick moves, like that stasis ward that grabbed every single worker, that's good. That's good is what that is. And I know Parting might get written off to be a bit of a meme player. Like when you compare Parting to Trap, which one should be at IEM Katowice? I think hands down, everyone's going to say Trap. Trap's the more seasoned player. He tries harder. He's in more tournaments, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, if Parting beats him, he deserves to be there, regardless of what anyone may have stereotyped about him as a streamer versus not pro player. And I'd be so proud of him too. Not that I'm cheering for him, because that would be bad luck. I'm not cheering for him. The second probe, though, is going to make things spicy. He's going to place this pylon down here to the bottom right, and you can see Parting is also doing something kind of similar. Now, the second pylon outside the base is supposed to confuse Trap, right? The basics of Protoss scouting, for those who don't play Protoss or don't know how to scout Protoss, the basics of it, like no matter whether you're a pro or a gold leaguer, the basics are you have to have 2 pylons in your base, otherwise the rule is you're probably proxying. The second pylon keeps you on supply block, right? So when you look at somebody who is actually proxying, yeah, there's no second pylon. If Parting scouted this, it'd be so obvious. But it's a proxy versus a kind of not really proxy because it's still in his base, but Trap hasn't seen this. So there has to be a little bit of red flags going off right now, a little bit of warning signals saying like, okay, what is Parting doing? He doesn't know that this is not a proxy. That's the toughest thing about this. If he had scouted this, Trap wouldn't be worried about this at all, but he's going to have to play a little defensive. He's going to have to invest in these stalkers. And even though there's a Stargate right flipping here, Parting's going for DTs. And while Trap could build an Oracle for detection, there's like a 0% chance that that goes across the, like, that's going to go to the mineral lines. That's not going to go home to defend. This is going to be really tough to deal with. That being said, Parting's probably going to lose a lot of workers. So time is kind of the essence on both halves of this equation. Turn on game sounds, please. There's absolutely no way I'm going to trust anything you guys in chat are saying anymore. Like, if I'm muted, then I'm muted. You get to watch the rest of the show with no sounds. You've trolled me for the last time, Starscream. All right, I thought this would be way worse than it was. Parting actually burns a couple of warpings here on Stalkers, which is really important to do. And now Trap's going to scout the Dark Shrine and race back home. Oh my god, the Adepts actually made it to the top of this too. DTs have enough damage to one-shot workers, so even if there's a shield battery up, it's not going to matter that much if DTs get up over there. I think what's very important for Parting, though, is he has to go in one at a time. That Oracle's going to have enough energy to cast Revelation one time, not twice. If he splits his units and doesn't get caught by them... Oh, it's 2 Oracles, actually, so it won't matter. DTs have been revealed. But they were revealed so early, Parting could actually just fall back from this. Yeah, just make like an Archon or something. Like, the DTs were caught. He's going to recall the Archon. I did not even know you could recall an Archon that was like mid-merging or whatever you want to call it. I think it's merging. Yeah, the merging is complete. Yeah, that's... Okay. Anyway, it's stuck in the main base, and that totally sucks. Because you have to kill a gateway to get it out unless he uses a warp prism. Which, okay, there you go. Timing, right? This Stargate could still get used a little bit later on. Parting's left a lot of defense in his mineral lines, though, so there's not a lot of opportunity for that. But when it comes to base, Parting's is a little bit faster. He got some okay kills on the other side of the map, but ultimately this traded out pretty low stakes on both sides. I think the most regrettable part about this is just the fact that this ends up being a wasted investment down here, sadly. Yeah, these Oracles try and come in, but the Stalkers are ready and waiting. And of course, Oracles are armored units nowadays, so they take bonus damage from Stalkers. Almost loses, oh my god, it's 4 HP. Yeah, killing the pylon's probably more important than killing the Stargate. Just leave a Zealot to eventually kill the Stargate, right? Like, it's not very valuable here. Although it is a little bit of vision, I suppose. Now, as far as worker saturation goes, they're both keeping up on it pretty well. We see Chrono Boost still pumping out probes. Getting this base all mined out real quick is kind of the goal here. 3 Oracles, still going to be annoying to deal with, but we got to remember one of them is on the verge of death. Like this Oracle over here is just like, if a space rock nuzzles it slightly, it's going to die. It's got shields for it, and that's about it right now. It looks like the Stargate's been fully cleaned up. Back at home, we do have a Twilight Council on the way. And if Trap's thinking about any kind of tech, I guess we'll find out as soon as that completes. Charge sets up for Parting, so it looks like he's going to play this game straight up. Charge Lot and Archon is what I would imagine he'll be going for. Very standard, very powerful way to play. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's the other side of the map. Resonating Glaive starts up here for Trap. Okay, so this is where... I've seen this battle go down. Adepts can be better than Zealots, right? So the idea is that, like, the Adepts get to fire from the back line, so they technically get to do more damage because they live longer, right? That's kind of the logic behind it. Not to mention they deal bonus damage versus light, so they help Shrek through Zealots. But at the end of the day, Archons are still just better, period. So even if your opponent has a back line of Adepts, it's not that much different than a front line of Zealots for an Archon to deal with. They just have to walk an extra step or two. So this is a situation where I don't hate what DRG had, or excuse me, not DRG, what Trap had started doing, but I like that he canceled and swapped back over because charge makes way more sense. I cast DRG like 5 hours ago. I don't even know why I misspoke DRG at this point. I guess DPG, maybe? I just looked at that. Look, whatever. My brain's fried. Let's go. As Party pushes into this base, Trap does have shield batteries and stasis traps up. In fact, that's what the Zealot's doing. He's hunting for the stasis traps. He managed to trigger 2 with 1. That was actually really good. But of course, the shield batteries are still a huge part of this. The Oracles are going to get in on the mix too. If Party overcommits to this, he'll be at a big loss. But the Archons are his huge advantage. It's a game of rock, paper, scissors, and the Archons are kind of like all three. He's going to scoop him up in the Warp Prism 2, keep him alive at the back. Shields do take some time to regenerate out of combat. But at this point, Zealot Warpins pretty much win the game against what's been left. There's not that many, there's almost no energy left in the Oracles. The Archons are starting to die, but they've already done their job. They took out all of Trap's Zealots. So his own Archons no longer is necessary. The Zealots will just hunt down these Stalkers like dogs. His own Stalkers, of course, get in the fight too. Let's not forget about that. Probe's going to go down in the mineral lines. GG's get called. Ladies and gentlemen, parting 2-0. Not over yet, but 2-0. It's game number 3. This could be it, folks. This is match point. The player I'm about to introduce here in the top right is on his very last life. Hopefully not the last time we introduce him, but it is the Red Protoss.
Trap.
And his opponent to the bottom left, we have the Blue Protoss.
Parting.
Okay, parting's up 2-0. I am not quite sure what crazy plans he has to close out on Trap. But when you're up 2-0 in a best of 5, more often than not, that seems to be where the cheese comes out, trying to get a close, just like a fast closer game. And if you watch some of the other qualifier coverage where we did the best of 5s for the previous qualifiers, we actually saw a couple of those just very quick closeout matches. I hope that's not the case, though. I think actually, despite the fact that Trap is losing, Party and Trap has been probably one of the more entertaining PvPs that I've gotten to cast this year. I know 2020 is still only like a couple weeks out, but I'm just saying, of all the many games we've been casting these qualifiers, these guys are pretty well matched. I know the score doesn't make it look like that, but like this has been a good series. And
Ooh.
It's a mind game pylon. This is what I was really liking about Parting when they played the first time. A small little recap: there is all 3 games, even though it's 2-1. All 3 games they played in their winners bracket, Parting did something like this. Whether it was committed to an actual proxy, or whether it was just putting the pylon out there to mess with Trap. Trap's got this probe out here looking for this proxy, though. Look at it. He's looking for a real proxy. Look at this rally strat. So he's totally been messed with by this. He's totally bought the fact that this is a proxy pylon. And Parting, you clever tactical genius. Now look, this isn't going to force an immediate overreaction, but this is going to force Trap to play a little bit more cautiously than he would like to. And the fact that he's only just now scouting it, he does, by the way, just now scout it with that probe. Triple checking, make sure he actually saw it. He's going to realize what the deal is. And he's going to just probably very comfortably take his Nexus in a moment. I would be very surprised if he tried to one base all in this for the last game of the series. Okay, he's not taking the Nexus, and this is actually where things get a little deja vu-y, but the other way around. So when we saw this final game close out, Parting versus Trap the first time today, Parting didn't take his Nexus initially, and he invested heavily to make Trap cancel his. Oh, that's a fake Oracle. That's cute. Trap's kind of doing the same thing now. Parting just gets the monster scout with that hallucination too. So he knows this is coming. I don't know if he's going to want to let this finish or not. He can definitely take a fight at the top of the ramp, but if he has to push down to defend, he will be outgunned. Couple of Stalkers for now. It's uneven footing with a couple of sentries to back this up too. Let's not forget Guardian Shield and Force Fields will be very powerful here. But until the shield battery finishes up, this is tough. And if Trap can't punish this, then he's put himself out of this game. Like, by choosing to do this, if Trap doesn't get a closing, like if he doesn't kill this Nexus, then it's all over for him. It's a big target on his back. Alternatively, you can kill the whole army and they just win the game too. But, you know, whatever. Warp Prism's on the way. Sentries are plentiful. These Stalkers do not have Blink, nor will they, but they might be able to just get up on the high ground if, for whatever reason, Parting lets Trap out of his sight. I can't imagine that happening. But the Warp Prism's out here. I think we're going to see some really cool juggling for this fight. I hope we do. Oh, he's going up to the high ground. Oh, man, he's going to try and force field off this ramp. But, I mean, if he does, Parting can always just recall. So it's super awkward trying to decide whether you commit to this or not. Force field is going to lock out a lot of these units. Shield battery will buy some time. Where's that Warp Prism from Parting, though? He's got to scoop these units up and get them into the base, even if he wants a chance to fight. His Immortal's huge for this, by the way. His Immortal is so big for this. He has to keep that Immortal alive at almost all costs. Probes are pulled into the fight. He's up an entire Nexus, so as long as the probes don't all die, it's fine. But he kind of moves the probes over and doesn't actually pull them into the fight. He's busy microing that Warp Prism, and who can blame him? Oh my god. Even if it's equal workers, the extra Nexus is insane. Party holds this. Oh, it's not over yet. But Party, for now, starts holding this. The probes go back to mining. He's going to lose about like one warping round to this, but that's kind of the advantage. He's winning with the Immortal. So yeah, huge income spike here briefly. Trap starts taking his own Nexus. I thought this would be over because he wasn't going to take the Nexus, but he's actually moving on to Disruptors beyond this. So if Trap actually gets Disruptors out and the Nexus, oh no! Warp Prism, GG, forget about it. There is no what ifs. Ladies and gentlemen, Parting with a 3-0 will be your qualified player through the losers bracket.